Hello everyone, and in today's video we're going to be adding a pick-upable item to our blueprint hierarchy that we can pick up and drop and then pick up again. Right, and with that we'll get into the video. Okay, so to get started, a few changes need to be made into our master interact, where for our pickup we're going to add the custom event for it inside of our master interact, and we're going to add a boolean just called isPickup. Brilliant. And then with that we now want to make our master pickup. So bp underscore master pickup. Right, okay. And now we want to add a projectile movement component. Which is going to kind of control how fast the object drops and if it bounces, etc. But what it also does is it gives us an event for when the item has hit the floor, which is what we need. Okay, and then we want to add should bounce. And then all these settings seem okay. Alright, with that we'll get into our event graph. So with that boolean that we made in our master interact, we want to activate that on begin play. So we want to get set pickup. With this being a child, it should convert right over. It does. I want to set that to true. And then we want to get our event pickup. And we're going to do a flip flop. Because we're going to set it up so that we can pick it up and drop whatever item this is. When we pick it up, we want to disable all collision because otherwise it will get in the way of our movement. So we want to get our new route. And we want to set collision profile name. And if we click on here and just type in collision, you see we have all these collision presets that we can set using these exact names. So and for our collision, at the start we want it to be block all. But when we actually interact with it, you can see we want to use this no collision. And because it's a name variable, we have to be case sensitive. So for example, if you were to make that a lowercase c, it just would not read. And then when we interact with the pickup again, we actually want to drop it, which is where we're going to use projectile movement. So we want to drag out our projectile movement and just activate. And we also want to set a new collision profile. Plug it in, and we're gonna set it to ignore only pawn. And this way it shouldn't hit like the character as it's falling, which would give us like an incorrect hit result. Clean up a little bit. And then we want to get another event from our projectile movement, which is called we may have to click on our projectile movement to get it. Yeah. So we want to click our projectile movement, right click, go to event dispatches, and on projectile stop. And this will fire whenever the projectile has hit the floor, and if it's set to bounce, whenever it stops bouncing. And so here, first thing we want to do, get our new route. Set collision enabled to physics only. And then we're going to simulate physics. And this is just so that when it hits the floor, sometimes projectile movement, it can kind of stick to the floor in an odd way and not land correctly. So when it's hit, we also want to simulate physics so it kind of lines up with the floor. Although actually, I think we'll have it here. I think otherwise it will just fall through the floor. I'm not sure though. Oh, we'll try it. I'm gonna plug it in here actually, just so it falls to the floor straight away. And then really, although it might not bounce, we'll see. And then now all we're really using this projectile movement is to make sure it bounces, which it might with simulate physics anyway, but also so that we can get this event to tell us when it's hit the floor. And then we want to get a delay of about a second. And what we actually need to do is, because with a projectile movement, we can only activate it once and then it will not work again. So what we're going to do is, once it's fallen and it's been there for a second, we're going to get the actor transform, which will give us the location, rotation, and scale of the object. I'm going to spawn an actor from class. And we're going to promote this to a variable and make it editable. And this will just match whatever pickup we're using when we set up the blueprint. So it'll spawn whatever pickup we're using again, and we need to destroy our current actor. So as soon as it falls, we kind of replace this actor with a new one. And then now that should be the setup for our blueprint. And now we will get into all the stuff we need to do in the character, like attaching it to the arm, etc. Okay, so now if we go into our character blueprint, we need to make a new variable of our master interact. Let's drag this out. And we're going to call it item in hand. And basically we're going to set this so that if the thing we're interacting with is a pickup, we're going to set this variable so that we know if we're holding an item and what the item is. So the first thing we need to do is out from this interact, we need to do a branch. And we're going to plug in the is pickup boolean. And we're now going to plug the interact into false. And if it's true, we're going to get our new root, or just our root, if you've managed to change the name. I'm going to attach component to component. And our parent is going to be our mesh. And so the next thing we actually need to do is we need to make a socket. And we're also going to set all these to snap to target. And then plug this in. So if we click on our mesh, double click on our character, go to our skeleton tree, and so I've got mine set to the right hand, but I don't actually like that. So I have this pickup socket, but I'm going to just call this right hand socket underscore socket. And then now, because I want to change hands, I'm going to show you how I made this. So as we can see, if we follow this up, it's connected to our hand. So we need to get our left hand. And if we right click, we can add a socket that's attached to our left hand. And just change the name to left hand socket underscore socket. And then if we press W, we just want to set this more in line where the object would be, which is, if we do this and then just make sure, right, that's about right. And now we have our socket, and then right click. In UE4 there used to be a copy literal name option. But yeah, if we just double click and then copy this name, also save it, minimize, and now we can paste this name in here, and now our pickup will attach to this socket. So then if we have, once we've attached it to the component, we also want to do our pickup action, which will, upon our first use, will just stop the collision of our pickup. And then we also want to get our item in hand so that we can tell the player what he's holding. And then we'll just plug that in. And now we need to set up the conditions of us dropping it. And how we're going to make this work is if we try and interact with something and it fails, we're going to drop our item. So on this cast failed, meaning that we don't hit anything, or we hit something that isn't our master interact, we're going to get our item in hand, and we're going to find out if the variable is valid, which just means if it's not set to anything, it won't be valid. And so this means it runs through if we are holding something. In which we're going to get our new root. And we want to detach from component. So we'll just get whatever component it's attached to and detach it. And this time we want to keep its world location. And we want to drag out from our item's hand and do the pickup event again, which will cause it to fall to the floor. And then we want to set our item in hand, and if we just leave this empty, it will set it to none. And now that's our setup in our character done. Now we just need to get to work on setting up an actual pickup. Okay, so the pickup that I'm going to create is going to be one of these torches. So what we want to do is we want to make a child of our master pickup. And we're going to call it BP_torch. And then we'll just put PU as well, just because this is also called torch. So torch pickup. And what we want to do is we want to go into our edit of our torch first. Go into our viewport, and if we select everything that isn't our root, we can copy it and we'll just paste it right into our pickup. Okay, so if we just go into here and press paste, yeah, there we'll see. You see, we'll have our torch, and then we also want to grab our new root, set the radius down to 10, maybe 6, maybe 7. And now something I want to show you is now if we just throw this into the world. Now we're going to pick up the torch from wherever this axis is. So if we make this window a little bit bigger, because we can't actually see where the axis is of the collision, we want to grab this and kind of push it up, and then with that we want to make our collision a bit higher. I think it's not exactly centered, is it? Right, perfect. And then there's not really anything unique that we need to do in here, apart from we'll get our point light, cast shadows, and we'll turn this off. I mean, you can turn it on if you really want to, but otherwise it would just kind of mess. The shadows would look odd with our character. Although you might want that. And so we'll just try it. Okay, so what happened there? Let's see, it might just be that physics is connected straight away. No? Yeah, we need to look at our master pickup. Let's try and unplug this. I don't know why that would matter, but let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. Although it does, it did delete straight away. What did it do there? Okay, so for some reason it's destroying the actor straight away. Right. Okay, so what the issue was is that anything with projectile movement on spawn will automatically activate. So we just want to type auto in our projectile movement, untick this. And that's in our master pickup, by the way. Right, and then we'll replug this in. And now it should work. Yep, there we go. So, first off, our socket isn't rotated the right way. And it's not set, it's not reset the collision. Possible I spelled it wrong. Doesn't seem like it. Let's see. Is there anything else we can do? Okay, so I figured it out. It's because we are we're setting this collision to be off, but all of these still have collision. Although actually, I think we need to go through and just set all these to collision off. Can we? Yes, it's just these two. And just set no collision. And then this way, the only collision that we're using is our root. And then, yeah, we also need to fix our character as well. So yeah, it looks like the blue arrow needs to be forward. Like that. Okay, and before we start, we want to click on our torch and actually, in our class, we want to set it to our blueprint torch, so it spawns correctly, and in our master pickup, I don't think this is ever going to hit while the projectile movement, or the simulate physics is activated. I think it actually has to activate after the hit. And now, if we give it a quick test, it should work. And obviously, if we were to polish this, we'd set up like an animation for the arm to be holding it up and for it to actually grab it with its other hand. But now if we drop it, you see it drops, it lines up with the floor, in which, and then and then we can pick it up again, and we can drop it again. So we got a bit of an issue there. Try and see how many times that replicates. Like if we drop it and then leave it. Maybe if we set it to always spawn. I think the issue we were having there is that it had some collision issues. Let's try again. We might have been too close. It seems like the issue was happening when we weren't close enough. Yeah, right, perfect. Oh, no. Okay, so I did a few tests and it seems like it might be an issue with our collision size, where it's a little bit too small and it's causing our object to sometimes fall too fast and fall through the floor. So we'll go into our torch and yeah, we'll just set this up to 12. Make sure it's definitely the right size. Okay, so we're back and after some testing I've fixed the issue. The first thing we want to do, well this isn't really fixing the issue, but it makes the collision a little bit better, is that we want our collision preset set to physics actor as well. And in our master pickup, we want to set it here on our flip-flop. And the main issue that we were having was that the first time we dropped it, it worked fine because we had a class for our spawn actor. But because it's an editable variable, when we spawned it again, we weren't connecting it to the actor that it needed to be. So when we spawn our actor, we want to cast it to our master pickup and set the class again, and then it should work perfectly. So now if we test it, which it's just little test conditions I set because it kept despawning, and now we can pick it up, we can drop it, it'll fall to the floor, it'll respawn, we can pick it up again, and we can drop it again. Alright, brilliant. And with that, that should be the video over. And I will see you next time.